Greetings and welcome back to the Better Money Challenge. For week 5, we're going to be exploring two areas of importance, the idea of debt and commitment. Hi, I'm Sean Episcopo from NoHusbandLeftBehind.com. And remember, my friend, each session of this challenge, our focus has remained the same. We want you to remain in the driver's seat the whole time, but we are here, my friend, to help you with guiding your money as it flows in and out to maximize your financial resources. And for Christians, we like to say that that truly is for the glory of God. Now, let's go ahead and get started with our intro. First of all, I want to say welcome back. This is week 5. And for those of us that have gone through week 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's, I believe, been a truly exciting time. It's been a wonderful opportunity. There's so much really that we've been able to get a hold of. And hopefully you found that as we are going through week by week, there are golden nuggets every single week. There's something that is here available for you to take, utilize it however you so choose, my friend. And remember, ultimately, we really want you to feel free to take action according to whatever it is that you want to work on, whatever it is you want to focus on, the area of improvement, whatever it is that would be best for you, my friend. Now, last week, if we can mention that we focused on the area of spending and maintaining. So you'll recall that spending is in the really is predominantly focused in the area of new purchases. So whenever you're going out, people think of shopping sprees and things. Sometimes, there are times where you do need to make purchases, upgrades and whatnot. But maintaining is something really incredible because for those high ticket items, things that cost way too much to have to keep buying over and over and over again, there's this opportunity we have for preserving, the things which we can hold on to for a longer time. Now, I want to make it very clear, my friend, I truly believe that you have plenty of options. Truthfully, in the world we live in, there's no ceiling. There's so many different things that you can do. There's so many different opinions that people have, what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. But as I've said from the beginning, my goal is for you to always remain in the driver's seat, meaning that I don't think you should be a puppet for anyone else. I really think that God in heaven has given you a mind, He's given you a heart, and I truly believe He expects you to do wonderful things with both of them. Now, I would like to be a friend. I would like to be a coach. I would like to be someone to help guide you through this challenge and even beyond with the areas where I have learned over the years and decades of experience, my friend. And I'm hoping that you're willing to allow me to continue to invest into your life moving forward. Now, let's get into our first area for this session. We want to talk about this idea of debt. Now, not everybody likes that four-letter word debt. Some people actually talk about borrowing or they'll talk about credit. They have established credit. Now, you can have credit lines that you don't use, maybe for emergency, and that's not what we're talking about when we say debt. Now, it is synonymous in some respects. Credit lines available is an opportunity for you to spend other people's money. However, once you do so, that's what we're talking about with debt, that you've already begun spending other people's money. Now, if you follow different wealthy instructors, people that are multimillionaires and above, it seems like that there's not really 100%, consistency. Some will actually say yes on using other people's money, especially with larger purchases. It comes to commercial real estate and various other things. Other people say no to borrowing on credit. They don't want to use other people's money, and both actually have their reasons. You just got to decide on what's best for you right here, right now, my friend. And when we're younger, it seems like it's a little more difficult, perhaps, to get enough money to buy those higher ticket items. Your first house, so to speak. I know my wife and I bought our first house together. We actually did have to apply for a mortgage. There's only so much we could actually pull together, to buy that first house. Now, once we bought our second house, that was not the thing because the first house we had, a certain amount of of appreciation. Once we paid the mortgage down, the house went up in value. We had a certain amount of money to purchase the next house. It's interesting when you look at it that you don't want to spend too much of other people's money throughout your life. I mean, for instance, if you're buying everything on credit, it might make you a little bit nervous if you wind up getting laid off, you know what I mean? So just be thinking about, the value of what it is that you want to consider credit and or debt for. Now, when it does come to buying on credit, whatever it is you decide to purchase, remember there is a purchase price for that item. Whether you buy on credit or not, there is a purchase price, whether you pay in full or whether you actually, pay partial and then utilize some form of credit. So there's a purchase price, but when you buy on credit, there's also interest that's built in. Now, there are some situations where you're going to say 0% financing. And honestly, be very careful to assume that those are interest free. It could be that the interest is built into the purchase price. It still may be a great deal for you, but just kind of consider the purchase price plus the interest that'll be expected of you, especially if it's calculated separately over the duration of the loan. So that'll be your total cost. Now, whether it's better or worse for you to utilize other people's money or not is really going to have to be your decision. And it's probably going to come down to the moment when you may have to, make a choice, between whether you do without or not. So, one of the things that's helped me throughout the years when I'm looking at making a purchase and I may not have all the funds right now, is does this item, generally speaking, go up in value or down in value? So when we financed our first house, it was not a very difficult, choice for me because I was thinking, well, God willing, as long as I continue to work and I stay healthy enough to be able to, we're planning on staying in this house for 10 years or more. So it's going to be a long-term investment. So generally speaking, when you look over historical, real estate prices, for the most part, it usually goes up in value. Now, there are times where neighborhoods change. The school district may not be as good as it once was or as desirable. Maybe the sports programs or whatever, attracts new people into your community. Because if you wind up putting your house up for sale, in say 2 or 3 years from the time you bought it, it may not actually be considered as good of an investment as if you're going to be able to stay possibly for 10 years or more. There's no guarantees, my friend, but just consider, generally speaking, does the asset go up in value, or does the item generally go down in value? Does it appreciate? Does it depreciate? Houses with land often, over the longer period of time, 10 years or more, often we see that they do appreciate. Of course, you want to talk to a realtor and, talk to people who really work in that area, because if you're looking at certain communities, you might want to consider a couple of different options. Now let's move from debt and credit and this idea of other people's money. Let's move on to commitment. Now, commitment is going to be something very important, whether you ever decide to use other people's money or not. Even if you decide to pay everything in full, you always use cash, you're using your own capital. Either way, commitment is something that is very important to you and me, my friend. So let's start out with our commitment as Christians to our wonderful Creator and God, the one who has given us life and breath and all the resources that we've ever had past, that we have today present, and that we will be able to enjoy even in the future for the rest of our lives. So he's a wonderful person to take care of us in all things. So let's be committed to him. And honestly, deep down inside, he knows you and me better than anyone else. And the great thing about it is he even wants the very best for you. So isn't that exciting? So why not be committed to him? Now, for those of us within the No Husband Left Behind community, we generally talk about our spouse or life partner, but there are other family members you want to consider, children and others who are living under your roof. So the spouse, remember that old saying, in our vows, until death do us part, or something to that effect, we want to be committed for life. And it's amazing when you do work things out with your financial resources, it can be exciting to have someone to share those opportunities. Even when you don't do as well as you anticipated with investments, it's nice to have someone to give a certain level of perspective. And with my wife and I being married for more than 25 years, it's very different today when we look at financial resources than what it was in our first few years of marriage. Now, let's also remember, my friend, that we want you to be committed to you. It's wonderful to be committed to God, the wonderful person who has given you life and breath and everything that you have. It's awesome to be committed to your life partner, your children, for maybe you even have others who live under your roof who really depend on you and they're part of the family. But I really want you to consider being committed to you, because you are so critical to this whole challenge, my friend. Your own needs, wants, and desires, those dreams that you have, those wonderful things that your awesome God has put down deep within you. And ultimately, we really want you to live to your highest level. The whole reason why we continually do challenges and we do trainings and workshops and different things at different times, we want you to become your absolute very best version, or at least to become a better version than what you were yesterday. So we call it the Better Money Challenge. Truthfully, we think that today should be better than yesterday, tomorrow should be better than today. Now, let's go ahead and look at our takeaway and get this thing wrapped up, shall we? So, the resources been flowing throughout this entire challenge. The 5 sessions, we've been talking about the money flows in and it flows out. It flows towards you and away from you. And as long as you stay in the driver's seat, you get to make the decisions, my friend, where it goes and when it goes. And some of these things you get to keep longer, some you'll keep shorter. Some of them you even get to hold on to. Remember, we talked about savings, investments. You hold on to them for a different duration. Some even get to share, so you get to benefit and others do as well. Now, the question is, we talked about debt earlier in this session, and should it be yes, should it be no? Well, I would prefer to stay in the middle of the road and allow you to consider the options, my friend. Maybe it should be yes today, maybe it should be no today. It really depends on where you are and what it is you're ultimately trying to accomplish in this point in your life now. So always read the fine print before signing anything. Remember, the total cost includes interest, so you got to factor that in. And then remember, does the item usually go up or down in value? And then the commitment, as we said in the second part, is to those that you love the most, my friend, to God, to your spouse and family, and to you, of course. And you know, consider what is truly most important to each and every one of you. So there are people in your house that will enjoy these resources with you. So it's nice to know when you are buying them and, investing in things, that others beyond you will get to enjoy these benefits. So if you enjoy this quick training video, my friend, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And of course, be on the lookout for other videos. There's 4 others before this one in this session. God willing, there will be plenty more coming. And for additional resources, remember to check out the website, nohusbandleftbehind.com. I want to thank you for being a part of this challenge, my friend. I wish you the very best in this upcoming week. I look forward to you connecting with us in the community at the website, and God bless.